So, first things first, let's get one misunderstanding out of the way. In the title, I mentioned manga, but in actuality, what I'm talking about is a Chinese comic, which is called Manhua. Manhwa is considerably less famous than manga, and it's also notorious for having one of the shittiest genre to walk the earth, which is the cultivation genre. Again, if you don't know what the cultivation genre is,
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
they're kind of like isekai, but completely worse. So naturally, when you mention a manhwa, first presumption is that it's a trashy cultivation story that goes on for ages, until proven otherwise. But thankfully, the manhwa I'll be talking about has nothing to do with cultivation. And I sincerely wanted this manhwa to be recognized by a wider audience because it truly deserves it. And I'm being 100% genuine. If you don't know what manhwa is, then I'll give you a brief tour. Manhwa are Chinese comics that can either be in long strip form, meaning that it's meant to be read digitally and while scrolling, something kind of like Solo Leveling if you've ever read that, or they can be in a book form, exactly like manga, but the difference is that in manhwa it's usually always colored. But let me sell you on the story itself. Feng Shang Ji starts off with Zi Shao, hopefully I'm pronouncing the words correctly, the Emperor of Shang, who he and his country has served the gods for 6,000 years. The Emperor of Shang receives a messenger from the gods asking him to prove his loyalty once more and invade other countries and steal their resources as a tribute to the gods, but he ultimately refuses. As a response, Tian, the most powerful god, sends the great gods that are under him to lead another country to a war against Shang. After a bloody battle that even the greater gods got injured in, to the point that Tian himself had to participate, Shang ultimately gets destroyed and Zishou, the emperor, gets killed and replaced by the opposing leader, along with anyone that had blood relations with Zishou. His wife, which is a rebelled god that married a human and had a son, the son is a demigod named AHFax. She makes a last effort in saving her son by burning the entire castle and dying with her son, turning him into a spirit and telling him to occupy a dead person's body and escape. The dead person's body that he occupied was called Wu Ging. He was thankful his age, but he was already married. In the process of escaping, he and his new wife get caught and turned into slaves to work in a mine their entire life. But Guo, which now calls himself Wu Ging to not get caught, doesn't give up his revenge, and that's where the story begins. This story did not fail to deliver. I did not feel bored one time throughout the story. It's always packed with twists and turns, and they always skip the parts where you know it's gonna be boring and repetitive, because the author tries to make you enjoy the story as much as possible.
Yeah, boy. That's it.
And not milk the story at all. The manhwa is fully finished and has 3 seasons, which all in all have around 180 chapters. Keep in mind the story is a little bit old. It was released in 2010 and ended in 2014. But somehow the art still looks good. And if you're an action addict, the story is packed with a lot of thrilling fights. And seeing the characters progress makes the fights even more satisfying. And if you're still hesitant to read it because it doesn't look like manga or because it's a manhwa, then please, you need to trust me on this and at least give a few chapters a try. But yeah, that's about it. Thank you.